In this video, I'm going to solve a few inequalities, and all of them are going to be linear inequalities. So let's do questions D and H of each section. So let's start by the first question and this inequality, which is D. So that's x minus 7 is less than 9. So remember that especially when it comes to solving linear inequalities like this, they are very similar to equations. So do you remember how we solve equations? That's almost the same here. So let's say if this was an equation, then the way that we would solve that was by just making basically rearranging the equation, if you like. So we can add 7 to both sides to get rid of this minus 7, and as a result of that we will have x is equal to 19 plus 7, and then that gives me x is equal to 26. So here the difference is that we are dealing with an inequality, so we have this symbol, which means that we are looking for the values of x which are less than something. So that something is going to be basically our answer. And always remember that when we solve inequalities, our answer is like a range of values. Whereas in an equation, we get some certain values. For example, for this equation, we got 26. When x is 26, this equation holds. Whereas in inequality, we get a range of values, and you will see in a second. So x minus 7 is less than 19. So the first thing we do is by basically rearranging this, so we can add 7 to both sides. So by adding 7 to both sides, we will have x minus 7 plus 7 is less than 19 plus 7. And here just these two is cancels out, so it's going to be x is less than 19 plus 7, which is 26. So the answer of this inequality is for all the x values which are less than 26. So any x value which is less than 26 is going to be the answer of this inequality. So, and the second part is that showing the solution on a number line. Right, so let's say here is 0, and let's say here is 26, and obviously here the left hand side is for negative numbers. So x is less than 26 is going to start from here, and since we want all the x's which are less than 26, so it's just going to be all the way through this side, which and we can kind of shade that. That's just one way of showing the solution on a number line. And the only thing that you need to be careful here is that this empty circle I put on 26. The reason is because 26 is not included in my solution. Remember that I'm saying all the x's which are less than 26, not less than and equal to 26. So whenever you have less than something, that a number is not included, so that you put an empty circle on that. And I will show you some other examples in other cases when that's like x is less than or equal to. So that's it for this part. Now let's do H. Right, now let's do this one, which is 32 is greater than or equal to x plus 30. So now let's solve this inequality. Again, we'll start by rearranging that, so that, remember, our purpose is to keep our unknown on one side and all the known values on the other side. So that's the general rule. So in this case, this plus 30 is here, and we want to get rid of that. So we can simply take away 30 from both sides, so that here this 30 will be just gone by doing that. So let's just take away 30 from both sides. That's going to be 31 minus 30 on the left hand side, and here will be x plus 30 minus 30. So here it's just going to be 0, and then we will have 31 minus 30, just 1. So 1 is greater than or equal to x. And that's it. That's the solution. Or you can just write that in this way. X is less than or equal to 1. Both of them are correct. But this is like the more preferred way of writing that. So our solution is all the values that are less than or equal to 1. So now, if you want to show this on a number line, let's say here is 0. and here is 1. So obviously we start from here and we go to the left hand side because it's all about the x's which are less than that, and it just continues. So it just continues and never stops from the left hand side. And here we need to also shade this circle, because in this case we are saying when x is less than or equal to 1, which means 1 is also included. So that's why we use a solid circle for this one. Whereas for the previous example, we used an empty circle, which represented the fact that that number, I think was 26, wasn't included. So yeah, that's a very important thing to know. Okay, now we have 7x is less than or equal to 21. So I'm just going to do the rest of the questions quicker because I've already explained how can we do these linear inequalities. So we have 7x, so we need to find a way to do something in order to have x by its own on the left hand side. And here we have 7x, which means that we need to divide both sides by 7 so that I will have x by its own. Because if I do so, remember that we are allowed to divide or multiply both sides of the inequality by the same number, or adding or subtracting the same number from both sides. As long as we are doing to both sides, that's fine. So I can write 7x over 7 is less than or equal to 21 over 7. Now let's just simplify. So here it's just going to be x, because any number divided by itself is 1, is less than or equal to 21 divided by 7, which is 3. And that's the solution. And now let's show this on a number line. So here is 3, and 3 is included, and all the x's which are less than 3. Right, now let's do 2h, which is 2x is less than 45. So we just need to divide both sides by 2 so that we will have x on one side by its own. So that's basically here is x is less than 45 divided by 2 is equal to 22.5. So this is the solution when x is less than 22.5, but it's not less than or equal, which means 22.5 is not included on a number line. So let's say here is 22.5, and it's going to be an empty circle, and then anything which is less than that. Right, now let's do 3D, which is x over 7 is less than or equal to 5. So again, we just need to rearrange this. So we can multiply both sides by 7 so that we will get rid of this 7 from the denominator. So let's just do that. Let's write in this way. So x over 7 times by 7 is less than or equal to 5 times 7. And that's equal to, so here it's just going to be x is less than or equal to 35. And that's it for this inequality. And on a number line, let's say here is 35, and this time there is this solid circle because 35 is included, obviously. And that's it for this one. Right, let's do the last one, which is 3h when x over 0.2 is less than minus 3.2. So we just need to multiply both sides by 0.2 so that we will get rid of this 0.2 from the denominator, and we will have only x on the left hand side. So it's x over 0.2 times 0.2 is less than minus 3.2 times 0.2. And then here is just going to be x is less than, and here we get minus 0.64. So this is the solution. And now let's just show that on a number line. So let's say here is minus 0.64. And we are saying when x is less than that, and that's not included. So that's an empty circle, and then it just goes to the left hand side. Okay, so that's it for this video. And this was like a very, basic type of video on inequalities. I'm going to also do more videos on more complicated types of inequalities. So first I will do more of the linear inequalities, and then once I finish that, then I will do quadratic inequalities. So yeah, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Good luck.